So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at three different Tamron lenses, the 17-28 f2.8, the Tamron 28-75, and the Tamron 70-180. This is really a discussion video about these three lenses while I still have all three of them together with me. I don't own all three of them. Actually, I've only rented this one out, but I own the other two. But while I have all three of them together, I want to go and have a short discussion with all of you about the lens. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on everybody? It's that one camera guy back at again with another video for you. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button and get subscribed if you haven't done so already. So what I want to do today is just talk about my experience with these lenses, and then even talk a little bit about price point, a little bit about the Tamron lenses in general, and sort of the great things that are coming about with Sony full frame E-mount with third-party glass. So I think this came out first for obvious reason. I think in 2017, 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one, folks. More than welcome to. This one here, the 28-75. Now, when I first got this, I pre-ordered this, or ordered it right from the very get-go, and they had focusing issues. Made a video about it. I think Tamron acknowledged it, and they released some firmware updates, and the lens has performed much better ever since then. So folks that are getting this lens will be generally happy with it. And then came along the Tamron 17-28, another lens I definitely pre-ordered early on as well. I only had a 16-35 f4 lens at the time, which I still have the Sony 16-35 f4, but I wanted a faster f2.8 zoom, so I went ahead and ordered this right on the spot, and as soon as I got it, started shooting it with it whenever I could. Was that early last year? I don't even know anymore. Time's going crazy. And then finally this one here, I did not pre-order this one only because I already had this behemoth of a 70-200 f2.8, and I didn't really see a need for it, and also I don't expect to be shooting any sports until early next year, unfortunately, because of the pandemic going on in the world right now. So I wasn't in any rush to want to go ahead and purchase and invest in another lens. And for the stuff that I do, I don't mind adding another lens sort of in this particular bracket. But anyway, this guy right here, very interesting. I have a mini review that I'm going to release comparing it to the 70-200 G Master. And while I was doing some tests, I'm starting to realize there might be something wrong with this. Now granted, I sent this in for repair, but I don't know if I screwed it up again, but the Tamron was coming out sharper than this. So I don't know. But that will be covered in my mini review. So I'm really worried that there's something off with my lens, because it's just performing really weird in terms of sharpness. And so the 70-2, this lens was actually outdoing the Sony. Okay, so that'll be in a discussion at a different time. Let's go ahead and look at prices of the Tamron situation right now. So if you're in the market for the Tamron 17-28, the wide angle option, it's $899. You know what's crazy? It was actually on sale maybe like an hour ago for like $779, and now it went back to $899. That sucks. But it's $899 retail price. You might be able to find it cheaper. The Tamron 20-75 is $879, and I think the price went up on this. It used to be $799, I believe. And the Tamron 70-180 is priced pretty effectively at $1,200. So if you're looking to get your, they call them the Trinity zooms. So if you're looking for your fast f2.8 zoom lenses, Tamron's got you covered, and they can get you out the gate without breaking the bank. Could you imagine, like, for the price of one of these bad boys at around $2,600 US, you could effectively pick up 2.5 of these lenses or so? I think my math is right. But you'd be on your way to having a set of fast 2.8 prime zoom, not prime zooms, but zoom lenses that are very, very good across the board, I think, in terms of what you're getting, in terms of weight savings and price point and effectiveness in these lenses. And so I've been very happy with overall video and photo autofocusing for all three of these lenses. Now, the 28-75 is a little questionable, I would say, out of the bunch, but I would say the other two, in my opinion, tend to perform much better in terms of photo, video, autofocus compared to the 20-75. So that's just been my general experience. Now, going back to the 17-28, when I was first using this lens, I thought that I was going to miss the 16 millimeters, and I kind of did. That one extra millimeter in practice kind of messed with me a little bit, especially with sports shooting and trying to get a group shot. I noticed that when I first started using it, I would notice I'd be cutting heads off and such. And I'm pretty tall, you know, and so when I would be taking photos of these high school sports teams, you know, I'd be able to get above them and position the camera or whatever, but I would notice that sometimes it always felt like I was missing kind of the framing of it and everything. But I got better at it over time, and I just kind of worked around it. But I typically use this, and I probably will have a video review of this at some point. But I checked my Lightroom, and I primarily used it at 17 millimeters the entire time. So I don't know if I really need anything other than this. So yeah, I primarily use it at 17 millimeters is where I use this lens at primarily. And then the 20-75, I stopped using this lens as much, but I will tell you, in my kit bag, this is in my bag all the time. And then I would have the 70-200. This was a must. I would have this in my bag, along with the 400 f2.8 that I use, which is kind of hiding right there. It's hiding right there. So those were my 3 main lenses, and I'd have them on 3 camera bodies while I was out shooting sports, especially outdoor sports and such. But this one is very interesting, the 70-180. But to go back to the 20-75, that was primarily the reason why I didn't have the 20-75 too often. But if I was shooting an event scenario, I would probably bring this on board. But this does create some really nice images as well. It's not a slouch in any way. It's just in terms of my workflow for sports, I didn't use it as much. But in terms of just just general photos, maybe like at a parade or something like that, or you're kind of up close with group shots or human beings and things, is a really nice option. I really did like this lens quite a bit. All right, 70-180, and I talked about already my mini review that I'm going to have on this. It's very lightweight. If you take a look here and you compare it to the actual Sony option, and even when it's fully extended, it's still shorter than the G Master. So not only you're getting a smaller lens, it's lighter, it's also f2.8. Granted, you're missing out on switches and dials and options and higher performance with the Sony A9 at 20 FPS, but if you don't need all that stuff and you don't mind switching and changing switches and all that stuff on the back of your camera, this is a really nice option, and I'm very compelled to pick up my own copy, but I probably will wait a little bit longer towards the start of next year to go ahead and pick up a copy of this when I can test it out for sports shooting, which is where I really want to use it for. Unfortunately, my testing was very limited in that. But those are just my initial thoughts on these 3 lenses. I can't say that I can highly recommend all 3 of these options for those that are amateur enthusiasts, casual photographers that want to get into this particular zoom range and they want better performance. You're not going to break the bank, and I mean, they're still expensive lenses, but compared to spending so much more money on G Master lenses, you can get so much more benefit out of these choices here. And I think Tamron's really right up their alley. And the funny thing is while I'm filming this video, Sony Alpha Rumors, my kind of go-to thing, they went ahead and posted a new leaked image of the Tamron 70-300. I think that's great. We have the 24-200 or 28-200, and now we're getting the 70-300. So it's fantastic that we're just getting more and more options today with these particular lenses, and it just makes the experience easier for people to switch over, especially those that want to shoot with Sony full frame. Now, before I wrap up, I do want to talk about Sigma, because Sigma is a really big player in all of this. I would say Sigma can produce some incredible lenses in terms of sharpness for a little bit more cost over the Tamron option. So let's go ahead and take a look at that really quickly before we wrap up this video. So as you know, Sigma's been releasing some very nice f2.8 lenses specifically designed for Sony email. I do plan on doing a rental of this lens because I want to check it out for myself, but this is a lens that was designed specifically for Sony email. Now, I went ahead and did a rental on this lens, and I tested it out, and there will be a video review comparing the Sony G Master and the Tamron 28-75, by the way, comparing it to this lens. And I'm going to tell you, that lens is really good. This lens by Sigma, autofocus for photos and videos are solid. Image quality across the frame, I gotta tell you, it was better than the G Master, and it was better than the Tamron 20-75. So I am excited about that, and that's the reason why I'm looking to go ahead and rent this one out. And I want to do a comparison in some ranges with the 17-28. I'm very curious to see sort of where they kind of stand. I'm pretty sure this is going to do optically better, but I mean, it's just very interesting to see the price points there. And then finally, now Sigma hasn't made a dedicated lens for this yet, but I am excited to see what Sigma does with a 70-200 f2.8 dedicated for E mount or L mount based on what they do. Because Sigma, it has been knocking it out of the park, and I was so impressed with their Sigma 24-70 that I hope they release another one. So in the next couple years or so, you're going to have 3 choices, folks, which is great. You're going to have your more affordable, budget-friendly Tamron F2.8 lenses, and then you're going to have your mid-range Sigmas at 2.8, which are very sharp options, and then you'll have your kind of top-of-the-line, pro-grade G Master lenses, which may or may not be better in some cases, I would imagine. So that is sort of my quick rundown of these Tamron lenses and my talking points for them. Again, make sure you're subscribed, and then if you enjoyed the content, make sure you like the video. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll have some affiliate links down below if you want to support the channel. But yeah, look out for the review on the 70-180. I've also got that comparison with the Tamron 20-75, and I don't know, if you're interested, I'll try my best to do some comparative tests. I don't do the very best tests, but I just test it the way I can, maybe with the Sigma 14-24. I'm very interested to see how that one does. That's a very interesting lens. But that's been my thoughts on the Tamron F2.8 Trinity Zoom lenses. If you have any thoughts yourselves, make sure you put it down below in the comments. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.